Hi and welcome back to FreeDO Hub. Today in our tutorial on ethical hacking, we are covering a new thing where we'll be creating a malware, and it would be a malware dropper with Msfvenom. Now, this is an educational course. We are covering ethical hacking as well as penetration testing on your network. So we are testing different applications and see that how it actually works and how can you protect your network if you know that what are the known vulnerabilities which are usually exploited on your systems. Now for today's lab exercise, I'm using my Kali Linux and I have installed a new operating system which is the desktop experience of Windows Server 2016. It's end of service, end of life. You can get it for free from Microsoft website, but just make sure that you are using a desktop version of it. There are two variants of it. One is command line interface. You won't be able to see any graphical user interface on it. Second thing is that just make sure that you have changed the network adapter settings to host only adapter so that you are testing the virtual machines on your network only for educational purposes. Now, once that's done, the first thing, as we always do, is that you'll run your virtual machine, which is Kali Linux, and you'll check the IP address of this one. And as you can see that the IP address for my Kali Linux is 105, whereas I have my server operating system, which is server 2016 running on my system. It has the IP address as 109. The other thing is just make sure that your firewall is disabled on your remote system, and then we'll try to create a payload using Msfvenom. Now, before we'll start, just clear the screen and just make sure that you're logged in as a administrator. Now, the scenario is that imagine that you left a USB stick in a parking lot deliberately, where you have created a malware and you have saved it on the USB stick. So anyone who would pick the USB stick, they'll take it from there and they'll connect it to their computer. As soon as they'll connect it to the computer and they'll double click on the file, it would open a reverse shell on their computer through which we'll be able to control their computer. Now, that's the scenario and that's what we are actually trying to see. Just don't worry about it. It won't replicate itself. It's a safe malware that we'll be creating on our system. So once you're logged in as the root user on your system, I'll use Msfvenom over here. Now try to understand the command over here. I'm trying to create it for 64-bit system. That's why I'm using Microsoft Server 2016, which is 64-bit. Otherwise, you can create it for 32-bit as well. So I'm writing Msfvenom, and then I'm giving it an information over here where next we have -p. Now -p means that we are having a payload of Windows and we are expecting that most of the companies have now 64-bit operating systems on their network. So we are creating it for 64-bit and we'll be using Meterpreter reverse TCP, and we are defining the local host that would be the IP address of your Kali Linux, where we want to receive the feedback if someone would connect this payload. And the local port that we'll be using would be 4444, and then we'll create a file which would be an executable file, and the architecture of it would be 64-bit. Now, if you're creating a 32-bit file version of it, you can use 86 over here, and you can use 86 over here as well. Now, then the output would be saved on your desktop. So this path would be different in your case. Just check what's the path on your computer. And then I'm creating a file with the name of Flash Soccer. So it would seem like that it's a soccer game, which is an executable file. Now, once you click that, you can see that it has created a malware where the size of it is mentioned over here and it's saved on the desktop, and you can see the file over here. Now, that's done. First step is over, like we have created the malware which would be used on the remote computer. Now we'll copy it on our USB stick, but before we'll do that, I'll have to run the MSF console over here, we'll try to set up a handler here which would actually set the payload on it, and it would define the local host and the local port before we can actually run and copy the file on our USB. Just to make it clear, our MSF is running, which is Metasploit, and after that we'll have to use an exploit for the multi-handler, and for that I'm gonna type use exploit, which is multi-handler, and press enter. As you can see that it has selected this payload. Then I'll define the payload as for Windows 64-bit system, which is Meterpreter, and reverse TCP. After that, define the local host, which is your Kali Linux IP address. And finally, we'll define the port of it as 4444 and press enter. Now, the only thing left is that we'll have to run it, but before we'll run it, I want to copy this file on my USB. Now, if you'll go to the devices on your VirtualBox, it would show you a USB option. You'll have to select the USB that you're using. It would disconnect it, and then if you want to connect it again, click on the USB and you'll be able to see a sign over here. It's giving me an error since it would connect to the host computer initially and it would run the files over there. Now be careful that this is a malware, and if you're using Windows X, if you're using Windows 11 or any other operating system, it's gonna detect the threat and it would delete it from the file. So I'm gonna connect the USB to my virtual machine first. Now as you can see, now I have the icon over here. I'll copy this file and I'll paste it over here, or you can drag and drop it over here so that it is copied on your system. The next step is a bit careful, where you'll have to disconnect the USB from here and you need to connect it immediately to your server operating system, which is our target computer. So the scenario is that since we are creating a file which would be copied to the remote computer, so we need to see it in a situation where if someone connects it to their computer, what would happen and how you'll control it from here. So let's do it. Since I have copied the files over here, I'll go to device and I'll disconnect the USB, and then immediately I'll go to my server operating system and I'll wait it to be connected on my host computer. Then I'll go to the device settings and USB. So now I'll be able to see the USB over here. As you heard that it has detected it, and if you'll open it, the file is here. But before we'll actually get the information on that one, what we can do is that we can run the command over here. Now, what this run command would do is that it would now start monitoring if someone has actually connected that USB on their computer or not. As you can see, it's saying that started reverse TCP handler on 192.168.56.105, which is our Kali Linux IP address, and 4444 is the port number. Now, this is my server operating system, and a person just picked the USB from the parking lot and they connected the USB on their computer. The USB name is free games, and if the person would double click on this file, you can see the message changed over here, sending stage, and there you go. That's it. You penetrated on the remote system successfully, since it showed you Meterpreter session 1 opened on your remote computer, whoever connected it to their computer. Now from here onwards, the remote computer is totally in your control. You can do whatever you want to do on it. So as we always do with the question mark, it would tell you that what this payload is capable of, like what can we do on the remote system. We can kill the processes, we can read the files, we can quit, we can run, we can get system details, we can have hash dump, we can even check or delete the directories or create the directories, we can see the key logs, and even we can access their webcam and mic and lots of other things over here. So in order to get the details of the system over here, let's type in a command over here and see if it works. So let's try by get UID and see that what's the information. So the person who actually connected the USB is logged in as an administrator on their computer. Now let's try to type in get system and see if it can impersonate by hiding itself in a service. And as you can see that it has successfully impersonated in memory of the admin. So try to run the get UID again and see that now we are logged in as anti-authority system, which is the top level access on the system. If we'll type in shell, we'll be able to gain access to the shell access of the computer. As you can see that it changed to C Windows System 32. Now let's try to add an account on the computer by typing in net user accounts. That's the name of the account and the password for that, and click add. So as you can see that the account has successfully been added on our remote server operating system. And then we'll add that account, which is a net user local group, to the administrator, and we'll add the user accounts to that and press enter. It's gonna add the accounts to the administrator. I think there was a typo on that one where I typed in net users, and this account has been added to the administrator's account. And if we'll type in net user and check it, it's gonna tell us that we have the accounts as administrator, the account that we just added, and then we have default and other accounts on this one. So that was a simple tutorial on learning that how a USB stick can actually compromise your network. Now let's see one thing. If I'll close this and if I'll sign out the account, which is my remote computer, you can see that it told you that Meterpreter session is closed. So the reason is that it is died on the remote computer. So as long as the file is running, you can send the payload on the computer and exploit the weakness of the system. It's the same thing as I showed you in the previous video, that you can have a service and you can force Meterpreter to hide it in PowerShell, command prompt, notepad, or anywhere, and you can permanently gain access to the remote systems. That's it for today. Thank you very much.